Investigations continue at the Perdue Farms facility in Hertford County after a grain tower exploded on Saturday morning, leaving 1 dead and 3 injured.
Our Lucy Ritchie is live in Cofield after speaking with county officials about updates regarding the investigation. Lucy.
Courtney, Dave, behind me is the Perdue facility where smoke is still coming out of the 8-story grain tower that collapsed on Saturday. Now, I spoke with county officials this afternoon on some updated information as far as the investigation goes, and as of right now, there are still many questions that still remain. So take a look at the building from this afternoon. This was taken on the south side of the facility where you can see that the devastation is clear and smoke is still evident. The facility is currently taped off and every entrance to the mill is blocked as the State Bureau of Investigation and the Office of the State Fire Marshal continue to investigate the cause of the fire. Over the weekend, officials say over 20 agencies were helping in the search and rescue of the employees, including neighboring first responders, NC Task Force 10, and North Carolina Emergency Management. Officials told me that first responders were here for more than 40 hours over the weekend, but were ready when they got the call.
Seeing the responders on scene, and you can only hide it on your face for so long, but you could tell that they had to have tough conversations with family members. They had to have tough conversations with officials on scene, make tough decisions that are split-second decisions. You don't have time to think, you just have to act.
As of now, local officials have completed their search and rescue investigations. Officials and residents tell me that Perdue operations seem to have paused and are mourning the loss of the individual who died during the explosion. Now, names of the employees that were found in the building have not been released, as Perdue employees have not provided them yet. Reporting from Cofield, Lucy Ritchie, WITN News.
All right, thank you, Lucy. Now, officials say they will release new information as it becomes available.